So it took anywhere from 2.5 to like sometimes 7.5, depending on how much we had to do. There were days where it took a long time, but they're so oriented and so detail oriented that it was important because it's all about the details and it's all about the little things. And I think doing it practically, for me, adds a layer to it that I think makes it more scary, more tragic, as opposed to just using VFX.
And we were attacked. I think my husband was infected.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Good.
I'm great. Thank you for having me. You nailed in the movie. You're so scary. So kudos. How
Thanks.
excited are you from playing one of the most classic Universal monster in this movie?
No, it's very exciting, but what I like too is that, Lee, our director Lee, he very much had his own sort of take on this. I don't even want to call it a modern spin, because, I mean, even though it takes place in modern times, there's a lot of ode to sort of the classic. Even just the fact that how we did the prosthetics, it's like not much VFX. It's all like real and tangible, and our prosthetic designer Arian is very much inspired by those movies. So it's a good mix of like sort of modern and classic, I think. And it's a very unique role to play. You don't often get to play an animal of any kind. So I mean, I was up for the challenge.
And the prosthetics look so real. So how much time did it took for the makeup process? And it's all practical effects, no CGI in the look of the monster.
There's different stages, so it took anywhere from 2.5 to like sometimes 7.5, depending on how much we had to do, So there were days where it took a long time, but they're so oriented and so detail oriented that, like, as tedious as it was, it was important because it's all about the details and it's all about the little things. And I think doing it practically, for me, adds a layer to it that I think makes it more scary, more tragic, as opposed to just using VFX, where, I mean, good VFX work well for certain movies, but I think for this, the tangibility of it all, it created a different atmosphere on set, especially too.
And what are your favorite monster movies? And what are your favorite horror movies?
Favorite horror movies? There's a few. I would put The Exorcist, The Omen, The Shining up there. I don't know if you consider that horror, thriller, whatever, but those are up there. Monster movies. I was talking before. It's not a monster movie, but Terminator 2 was in one I saw like really early on, and I would consider, especially like the villain in Terminator 2, a bit of a monster in some way. That was a movie that has always stuck with me since I was a kid because I saw it too young. In terms of what scared me, that was like one of the first movies that really scared me.
It was the first movie that I watched in VHS. So
You? Really?
yeah,
Oh, really? Oh, really? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I saw it when I was like 8 or something, or I don't know, maybe even younger. It was too young, but I loved it. Yeah.
and if you could cross over the Wolfman franchise with other monster franchise, which one would you pick?
Give me some other monster franchises.
Dracula,
Yeah.
the Lagoon Monster.
I want the one that you think Wolfman would get along with. I don't want it to be scary. I want it to be a very sort of boring, I want a monster movie where it feels like Seinfeld. I think that's a strange, weird mix. Something where the Wolfman and one of the other ones are just, having to do daily banal things. That's what I want to see, whatever that was. You can pick who that's with. Yeah.
And do you think that's the whole story or it's the beginning of a franchise?
I think that the movie that we made, I think, is very much a standalone. In terms of what that becomes or whatever, I have zero idea. But to me, it was just this movie, But yeah.